Words are not just sounds we make. Proverbs 12:18. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. They are not just letters on a page, they are living things. They carry weight. They can build a person up so high they feel like they can touch the sky. Or they can be like stones, thrown one by one, until a person collapses under the heaviness of it all. I remember seeing a young girl in a school play. She stood on that stage, her heart beating like a drum. She forgot a line. Just one line. The silence felt like an eternity. Then from the darkness of the audience, a voice whispered, "You can do it." Those 4 simple words were a lifeline. She found her place and finished her part, her face shining with relief and pride. A moment of potential shame was transformed into a moment of quiet triumph, all because of a few carefully chosen words. That same afternoon, a different story unfolded on the playground. A young boy, full of light and laughter, was told he was not good enough to join a game. The words were sharp, they were cruel. "You're too slow," they said. "You'll just mess it up." It wasn't a physical blow, but the impact was just as real. You could see the light in his eyes dim, his shoulders slumped. He walked away, smaller than he was just moments before. The joy he carried was stolen by a handful of careless words. These moments happen every single day, in classrooms, on playgrounds, and in our homes. They are the small battles that define our spirit, fought not with fists, but with the language we choose to wield against one another. In our community, we know this truth in our bones. We have felt the sting of words meant to diminish us, to put us in a box, to tell us who we are before we've had a chance to decide for ourselves. A friend of mine, a brilliant artist, was told by a teacher that her dreams were unrealistic for a girl like her. Those words haunted her for years, a constant whisper of doubt in the back of her mind. She had to fight twice as hard, not just to perfect her craft, but to silence that negative voice that was planted in her soul so long ago. The scars left by words are often invisible, but they are deep and they can take a lifetime to heal. But we have also been lifted by the power of encouragement. I think of the countless grandmothers, aunties, and neighbors who spoke life into us. They would say, "You are black and beautiful, your mind is a gift," or "Don't you ever let anyone tell you that you can't." These were not just empty platitudes, they were shields. They were affirmations that built a foundation of self-worth strong enough to withstand the world's harsh judgments. An elder once told a young man struggling in his workplace, "Son, your ancestors dreamed of you." That single sentence connected him to a history of resilience and strength, giving him a powerful reason to stand tall and be proud. History is not just a collection of events, it is a story told through words. For we as a nation, words have been our most powerful tools for liberation and change. Think of the monumental speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He did not command armies or hold political office for much of his life. He commanded language. When he stood before the Lincoln Memorial and shared his speech, he was painting a picture of a possible future. His words will live forever. They were a moral and emotional earthquake that shook the conscience of a nation. His words gave a voice to the voiceless. They articulated the deep, unspoken pain and aspirations of millions. They provided a language of nonviolent protest that was both dignified and profoundly disruptive to the status quo. Dr. King understood that to change the world, you first have to change the way people think and feel. He used metaphors and repetition not just as rhetorical devices, but as instruments to awaken empathy and inspire action. He called upon the nation to live up to the promise of its founding documents, using America's own words as a mirror to show it its own hypocrisy. This was the genius of his leadership, the strategic and soulful use of language. Similarly, the poet Maya Angelou wielded words with a grace and power that could both soothe a wounded spirit and ignite a revolution within the heart. Her poems and memoirs were a testament to survival and resilience. When she wrote, "Still I Rise," she was not just speaking for herself. She was speaking for every Black woman who had ever been pushed down, ignored, or underestimated. Her words became an anthem, a declaration of unshakable strength and dignity. They gave us permission to embrace our own stories, with all their pain and all their glory, and to see the beauty in our own survival. Angelou's language was a balm for the soul. She took the ugly realities of racism and trauma and transformed them into art that was both honest and healing. She taught us that our stories mattered. She showed us that the way we tell our stories, the words we choose, can be an act of self-love and reclamation. Dr. King's speeches organized a movement in the streets, while Maya Angelou's poetry organized a movement in our souls. Both demonstrated that words, when wielded with purpose and truth, have the power to bend the arc of history and redefine what is possible for a people. Our relationships are built brick by brick with the words we share. They are the foundation of our connections with our partners, our children, and our friends. A simple "I'm proud of you" from a parent can become a cornerstone of a child's confidence for the rest of their life. The phrase "I'm listening" can be a bridge across a chasm of misunderstanding between two people. These small, seemingly insignificant expressions are the mortar that holds our relationships together, making them strong and resilient. They create a safe space where we feel seen, heard, and valued for who we are. This verbal architecture is essential for our mental health. When we are surrounded by affirming and supportive language, our minds can rest. We feel secure. We have the emotional space to grow, to take risks, and to be vulnerable. Think about the feeling of confessing a fear to a trusted friend and hearing them say, "That sounds really hard. I'm here for you." In that moment, the weight of that fear is cut in half. The words don't magically solve the problem, but they create a shared emotional landscape where we are no longer struggling alone. This is the healing power of compassionate communication. On the other hand, careless or cruel words act like a wrecking ball to our relationships and our well-being. A cutting remark from a loved one can create a crack in the foundation of trust that may never fully mend. Words like "you always" or "you never" are not just complaints. They are labels that box a person in, making them feel misunderstood and defensive. Over time, these negative patterns of communication erode intimacy and respect, leaving behind a rubble of resentment and distance. The silence that follows is often filled with unspoken hurt and loneliness. This constant exposure to negativity can take a devastating toll on our mental health. It can fuel anxiety, depression, and a pervasive sense of worthlessness. When the voices closest to us are critical, we begin to internalize that criticism. Their words become our own inner monologue, a constant chorus of self-doubt. We start to believe that we are not smart enough, not attractive enough, not good enough. Healing from this kind of emotional damage is a long and difficult process. It requires unlearning the harmful messages we have absorbed and slowly, deliberately replacing them with words of self-compassion and kindness. We stand at a crossroads every single day with every conversation we have. The choice is simple, yet it is profound. Will we use our words to build or to break? Will the language we choose serve as a bridge or as a wall? This is not a small question. It is the very essence of how we shape our world and the lives of those around us. Every word we speak is a seed. We can choose to plant seeds of kindness, encouragement, and understanding, which will grow into forests of strength and connection. Or we can sow seeds of judgment and cruelty, which will sprout into weeds of pain and isolation. Think about the legacy you want to leave behind. Will you be remembered as someone whose words were a safe harbor in a storm, or as someone whose words were the storm itself? We have a responsibility to understand the weight of our language. Before we speak, we should pause and ask ourselves, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? This simple practice could transform our interactions. It could prevent immeasurable harm and create countless moments of grace. It is a discipline like any other that requires practice and intention. But it is a discipline that has the power to heal our communities from the inside out. This call to action is not just about being polite. It is about recognizing the humanity in one another. It is about honoring the fact that everyone we meet is carrying their own invisible burdens and fighting their own silent battles. Our words can either add to that weight or help to lighten it. In a world that is so often loud with anger and division, a kind word can be a radical act of peace. It can be a quiet revolution that starts with a single sentence. Let us be revolutionaries of compassion. Let us be architects of encouragement. Therefore, I ask you to join me in making a conscious choice. Let us choose our words with the same care we would use to handle something precious and fragile, because that is what a person's spirit is. Let us speak life into our children, our partners, and our neighbors. Let us use our voices to lift up the fallen, to champion the unheard, and to build a world where every single person feels the warmth of acceptance rather than the sting of judgment. The power to create a better world is right here, on the tip of our tongues. Let us use it wisely. Let us use it with love. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment and tell a friend to tell a friend. It's free, and it helps us stay motivated to bring more stories to you.